Queenslanders' calls for help going unanswered. Tonight, leaked emails lay bare a 000 crisis in our police force.
Exclusive, a South East MP under investigation by police.
An 11-year-old boy killed and 4 children in hospital after a car ploughs through a Melbourne primary school.
A makeshift bomb lab uncovered in a quiet Brisbane street.
Brisbane's biggest bus overhaul in a decade. The routes being added and scrapped.
The political prop that didn't pass the pub test, local dad kicked out over a Donald Trump cap.
And a special spooky guide to the South East's scariest Halloween homes.
This is 9 News Queensland with Andrew Lofthouse and Melissa Downs.
Good evening. 9 News can exclusively reveal tonight Queenslanders' 000 calls are going unanswered. Police unable to keep up with demand.
Leaked emails exposing a desperate plea for officers to put in extra hours to help struggling call takers.
They're the people you call when there's an emergency, but too often Queenslanders' calls for help aren't getting through, and it's simply because police don't have enough staff. A leaked internal police email sent yesterday and obtained by 9 News reveals the police call centre cannot at the moment keep up with the demand coming in on 000. We are not meeting our obligations to members of the public. In the last 7 days, for example, approximately 800 hours of overtime was used, and we still aren't answering every call. The Premier has met with the Police Commissioner and says they talked about broader staffing issues.
There is no doubt that frontline police are under more pressure than they've ever been.
Also discussing investigations into the Stones Corner Police Station contract, which 9 News revealed last week was signed without any funding allocated to it. Police now scrambling to save money in other areas.
There's going to be some big questions asked about that, I can assure you.
For now, police are pleading with officers on the beat to do extra shifts in the call centre, asking if anyone is interested in working overtime at comms, answering 000 calls. It would only be on 000, on overtime, all of the time, when it suits you.
And State Political Editor Tim Avia joins us now with more breaking news.
Tim, a Queensland MP is being investigated by police.
That's right, and it's one who just won his seat on Saturday. I can confirm police were called to the home of Labor MP Jimmy Sullivan on Sunday night at 9:15 p.m. over an alleged domestic incident. Police have confirmed 2 units attended the member for Stafford's address, with investigations into the alleged incident now ongoing. At this stage, no charges have been laid. The incident, though, follows multiple reports from witnesses who've contacted 9 News saying they witnessed erratic and alarming behaviour from Jimmy Sullivan at polling booths last week. The former Justice Minister has not responded to our requests for comment on the allegations. Meanwhile, counting is continuing in a number of crucial seats from the election. In Gavin, former Housing Minister Megan Scanlon remains ahead of the LNP's Bianca Stone, with both sides predicting Labor will retain the seat. Labor is also narrowly ahead in Pine Rivers, with former Minister Nikki Boyd hoping to stay in Parliament, but that seat is still too close to call. Former Transport Minister Bart Mellish's future, though, looks uncertain, with the LNP ahead and confident of winning the seat of Aspley. But certainly a lot of postal votes still to come in.
Thanks, Tim. To Melbourne now, where a young boy has died and 4 children are in hospital after they were struck by a car that careered into the yard of a primary school this afternoon. A 40-year-old mother who was behind the wheel is tonight in custody. Police saying she was picking up her own child when the crash happened.
A scene of heartbreak and despair inside the gates of a Melbourne primary school. 5 children perched on park benches under a sun canopy, struck by an out-of-control white SUV.
40-year-old female has driven to the school to collect a child. After collecting the child, she's performed a U-turn and collided into the fence of the school, crashing through the fence.
The victims all taken to hospital. One didn't make it.
A bit shaken, actually. Just heard all the sirens from home and we just live a street up, so yeah, really scary.
Lucy's young son among dozens of children who saw the horror unfold before their eyes.
shaken up. They're all really, really shaken up. Yeah. They're all out there and they actually witnessed it happen. Everyone was just, everyone that sort of was with their children, they were all just hugging each other, just supporting each other.
It happened in Melbourne's inner southeast just after 2:30 this afternoon, while students were on their final break of the day. The vehicle, which had P plates displayed, coming to an eventual stop on the edge of a sports field. Its front bumper damaged on both sides, ambulance equipment still strewn across the turf.
It's a tragic circumstance. It's really tough for everybody involved.
Parents were first notified close to 3 p.m. via text message. The incident sending shockwaves through the school community, not least the many teachers who offered assistance in the frantic minutes following the smash. Their anguish plain for all to see. A visit too from local federal MP Monique Ryan on a day so many here will never forget.
Terrifying, far too close to home. It's a beautiful school with little kids. It's just, you don't think those things happen.
Penelope Leash, 9 News.
Back in Brisbane, a young boy is tonight fighting for life after being struck by a car in Redbank Plains this afternoon. Paramedics were called to Alawoona Street just after 3:30. The primary school student was rushed to the Queensland Children's Hospital in a critical condition. Police have uncovered a bomb manufacturing lab hidden in a suburban garage. Detectives following a trail of pipe bomb explosions to an Annerley home where they arrested the couple inside.
She's accused of building bombs in her own home, but it was Sarah Davis who appeared shell-shocked as she left police custody.
Why was explosive material found in your garage?
I'm not going to tell you anything about anything.
Officers swarmed her house on Laurier Street in Annerley yesterday, arresting Davis and her 39-year-old partner, Dale Usher.
Put your hands on the car.
Police say they found bomb-making material, shotgun shells, drugs and cash during simultaneous raids at their home and at another Burbank property. An investigation was launched after Usher allegedly detonated 2 pipe bombs near their home in June and August. Today, detectives continued to search over the property while its 2 occupants fronted court. The magistrate eventually agreeing with Davis's lawyer that she should be released from custody.
The case against her isn't overwhelming or strong. The location of alleged items hopefully won't be enough, but we'll wait again for the brief. It's still early. She's obviously glad that she got bail.
Usher didn't appear via video link and made no application for bail. He'll remain behind bars until the couple return to court next month.
Cam Inglis, 9 News.
A driver in his 30s has suffered life-threatening leg injuries after 2 trucks and a car collided on the Logan motorway at Larapinta around 6:30 this morning. 2 others were taken to hospital in stable condition, the crash sparking hour-long delays for commuters.
A trail of destruction has been left behind after parts of the southeast were hit by severe thunderstorms, bringing heavy rain, large hail and damaging winds yesterday afternoon. This car destroyed after a tree fell at Wilston, with wind gusts of up to 78 kilometres recorded at Redcliffe. SES crews responded to 33 call-outs, with power restored to more than 5,000 properties today.
Tonight we can reveal the new routes and major changes coming to Brisbane's bus network in what council's calling the biggest boost to public transport in more than a decade. Many passengers will see modifications to their peak hour commute in a bid to bust congestion and cut travel times.
It's the humble Brisbane bus transformed into a mass transit machine.
Today is a new dawn for public transport in Brisbane.
Council today unveiling its bold new plan for the city's network ahead of the Brisbane Metro rollout, pledging quicker, more frequent trips within months.
Over half of all journeys on the busway will be faster.
The fresh network includes 5 new routes. Route 26 from Garden City to the RBWH, P109 from Acacia Ridge to the CBD, 127 from Indooroopilly to Fairfield Gardens Shopping Centre, 182 from Garden City to Holland Park West and 197 from South Brisbane to the city. 12 lines have been modified, another dozen combined for greater efficiency. And when Brisbane Metro 1 launches from 8 Mile Plains to Roma Street and Metro 2 from the RBWH to UQ, these 3 popular bus services will be no more. For many passengers, particularly on the south side, the new network will make their commute a two-seat journey, requiring them to transfer services along the way.
Yes, we'll need to have some residents will need to change their trip, but all big cities have interchange between routes. This is Brisbane growing up to a mass transit system, a 24/7 mass transit system.
There's all this fanfare about the metro launching and then this bus review being rolled out, but it hasn't happened. The metro hasn't launched.
The wheels are in motion. Metro lines 1 and 2 are expected to be on the road by early next year. Abby Guerin, 9 News.
A major review into the COVID pandemic says Australia, like the rest of the world, was ill prepared.
It found public trust has been eroded and we're unlikely to ever tolerate another lockdown.
For most Australians, the horrors of the pandemic aren't hard to remember. Panicked queues, lingering lockdowns and blocked borders.
There was immense dislocation, separation, anxiety, grief and, as the Treasurer will point out, enormous economic impacts from the pandemic and our response to it.
An inquiry into how the Commonwealth dealt with COVID-19 released today. A field of experts finding while Australia fared well compared to other countries, we could have done better, criticising a lack of planning in key decisions, including closing our international borders and enforced quarantine. That state school closures were not evidence-based, also revealing delays in the vaccine rollout and subsequent lockdowns had a direct economic cost of $31 billion, and concluding trust has been eroded.
Our pandemic plans were grossly inadequate for the scale of the challenge.
Big decisions were taken and big mistakes were made. Those mistakes were costly and they were inflationary.
If Labor had their way at a federal level, there would have been an extra $81 billion that was spent. We saved lives and we saved livelihoods.
Given what they knew at the time, I think they acted appropriately. I think they put in place an appropriate amount of stimulus.
The report calls for 9 key recommendations to improve future responses to public health emergencies. They include better communication and coordination between federal, state and territory governments and establishing a new national authority dedicated to preventing and controlling diseases. In times of crisis, it would share data across jurisdictions and provide evidence to back decisions made. The federal government today responding to those calls, investing more than $251 million to set up the Australian Centre for Disease Control.
It won't be a set and forget in the future, but it'll be a constant change that's communicated to the public based on the best scientific evidence.
Many of the measures taken during COVID-19 are unlikely to be accepted by the population again.
Claudia Radoljak, 9 News.
A group of Year 10 boys from Emmanuel College on the Gold Coast have been expelled after an offensive and inappropriate list surfaced online. It's understood 3 boys and students from at least 2 other local schools were involved in making vulgar and degrading comments about female students that were found on school computers 2 weeks ago. The school telling 9 News, "We are appalled that a small minority of boys consider it acceptable to view girls in this way. Support and counselling is now being offered to students."
The Premier's election promise to scrap pill testing at schoolies may not be followed through with. David Crisafulli had campaigned on the issue, but today said he's still considering the decision for this year's Gold Coast celebrations.
We've said that we don't support pill testing, and I'm not walking away from that. I'm talking about this event here, and I've asked for some advice on that.
The Australian Medical Association Queensland says the services are life-saving and are calling on the new government to keep them going.
Peter Dutton has stepped up his criticism of Anthony Albanese for his airline travel, arguing he should refer himself to the Corruption Commission for taking Qantas flight upgrades while Transport Minister. But the PM's struck back, calling the Liberal leader a frequent flyer with a billionaire benefactor.
The spirit of Australia haunting the Prime Minister.
I have at all times, acted in a transparent and appropriate way.
Anthony Albanese's relationship with former Qantas boss Alan Joyce taking the government off course.
He was Transport Minister and he picked the phone up to the CEO of Qantas to get upgrades, some of which it seems were declared and others not.
Mr Albanese has received more than 20 flight upgrades over the years. He says he declared them all, some for personal travel with family members.
Did you call Alan Joyce personally for these upgrades?
There's no accusation being made with any specifics at all about any of this. None.
Although he does recall speaking to Alan Joyce about being on Qantas's first A380 flight to Dubai in 2013, along with other VIPs, and the national carrier's first direct Perth to London service 5 years later. 10 of his upgrades were during his month-long leadership ballot with Bill Shorten in 2013, flights paid for by the Labor Party.
I think the Prime Minister should take the initiative to refer this matter to the Integrity Commission.
Peter Dutton seems to be obsessed with making attacks on myself, my family.
The PM saying it was Mr Dutton who had to answer for flights and hospitality he'd received from billionaire Gina Rinehart.
I've been very transparent. I've declared all of that, which is why Mr Albanese knows about it.
Dig deep enough and almost every politician has taken largesse from the corporates, so no one's copybook is clean. But the PM will be worried his everyman image is being eroded.
And in my time in public life, I have acted with integrity.
Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
The FBI has been called in after ballot boxes were set alight in 2 US states. It comes as Donald Trump's campaign tries to distance itself from racist remarks made at his rally in Madison Square Garden.
The smouldering remains of hundreds of ballots. Drop boxes in Washington state and Oregon targeted by arsonists with electoral integrity under a cloud of smoke.
We are modifying our ballot retrieval schedule.
But early voting continued, the outgoing president queuing up like 41 million other Americans.
Joseph Biden now voting.
Casting his ballot for his 2IC early in Delaware. With 8 days on the clock, his predecessor's campaign was on the defensive after racist remarks against Latinos.
There's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
We have to stop getting so offended at every little thing.
Today, Donald Trump placed himself in the hands of God.
We thank you that you have raised up a man, Donald J. Trump,
hoping to firm up evangelicals' support.
Religion is under threat in this country, serious threat.
And in the state with the largest Arab American population, the vice president was faced with protesters.
On the subject of Gaza, we all want this war to end as soon as possible.
Kamala Harris and her running mate putting on a united front here in Michigan as America rounds the corner to an election where opinions and people are so divided.
It angers me because I heard several comments about other races in other countries, which is not fair.
Well, it's incredibly important that we get this right.
In Ann Arbor, Michigan, Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
Southeast shopping centre mayhem. A fire hydrant explodes, sending river rapids through stores.
A dad wearing a Donald Trump cap booted from a Brisbane pub.
A mega tower to boost our housing supply as unit prices hit record highs.
And at the end of sport, expert advice slashing $400 off your power bills.
A fire hose has burst on the Gold Coast, sending river rapids through Robina Town Shopping Centre around 11 o'clock this morning. The ordeal captured from every angle by shoppers and workers as the wave of water flooded the ground floor. Some areas are still closed to the public, but most impacted retailers are trading again.
Do politics still have a place in the pub? One popular Brisbane venue doesn't think so, booting out a Brisbane father on the weekend for wearing a Donald Trump cap.
Kicked out over a cap.
She just continued to tell me that it's a gay bar and that I needed to leave.
Rob Holt was visiting the Wickham in the Fortitude Valley for a Halloween event with his wife and daughter when he was asked to leave the venue because of his hat.
And she said, some people in here don't feel safe. And they're a bit worried with you wearing that in here.
Having already spent several hours at the pub with no issues, Rob says he was confused and embarrassed when staff approached him.
Especially my 6-year-old daughter. I didn't want her to see her father being kicked out of an establishment for what I deemed to be no reason. But if they were upset by it, I mean, I could have just easily removed it rather than being told to leave.
The Wickham has been a well-known LGBTQIA+ venue for decades, and given Donald Trump's stance on gay rights, Rob says he understands why some people may be offended.
But that's why we have conversations. Nothing gets solved by just telling people to leave and shutting them down.
The Wickham promotes an open arms and open doors policy. Rob says he was surprised the door was closed to him because of his values.
I hope I've not offended anybody. I've just got a hat on. I'm not being aggressive or anything like that. I was just here for a day with my family.
9 News reached out to the Wickham but received no response. Pat Heaney, 9 News.
House and unit prices in Brisbane have hit a record high, according to new data from Domain. Paradise Point on the Gold Coast claiming the top prize for price growth over the past year, up almost 50%. Manly wasn't far behind, Richlands coming in third, but there's improved affordability in some suburbs, with the median house price in Ritzy Hamilton on the north side down more than 20%. Cairns City unit prices are down over 18%, and houses at Bigara Waters on the Gold Coast are now almost 16% cheaper.
But we have seen a significant slowdown in the pace of that price growth. It's about 1/3 slower. But even despite that slowing, it is very likely that Brisbane's median house price is going to surpass $1 million by the end of this calendar year.
In a boost for availability and potentially affordability in the unit market, a $1.5 billion development at Newstead boasting 1,000 new units has now been greenlit by the council. Construction on Little Italy slated to begin in March.
The Southeast's most spooktacular displays. Tonight we show you the best monster mansions and ghoulish gardens near you, plus the special Halloween setups for little kids, dialing down the fright factor. That special report is coming up. A bizarre courtroom prop next, why this man showed up to court with a whippersnipper.
On board the new fleet boosting our Army's arsenal.
Plus the fake cash bonus catching out Queenslanders. A man's carried a whippersnipper into a Gold Coast court in a bizarre attempt to clear his name. Carl Summers is accused of attacking a man with the very same machine in April, allegedly cutting his legs. Today he pleaded not guilty to assault occasioning bodily harm.
It's an accident. I was in the course of doing my duties. This man had threatened my life and he'd come towards me, and that's how he sustained his injuries.
Will return to court next month. It's unclear whether he'll bring the whippersnipper with him again.
The main UN agency responsible for distributing aid in Gaza has been banned from operating, with Israel claiming the group has been infiltrated by Hamas militants. The ban to the UN Relief and Works Agency comes after the IDF arrested around 100 suspected Hamas terrorists at a hospital in northern Gaza.
UNRWA simply must be replaced. That is the view of the Israeli government and the overwhelming majority of Israel's people.
The agency says the ban violates Israel's obligations under international law.
It was a spectacular debut for the Army's latest recruit today. The Black Hawk helicopters replacing the old Taipan fleet put through their paces in a wartime simulation of a terror attack.
A siege and an Australian embassy, and the Army in their brand new helicopters come to the rescue. It's the first time we've seen the $70 million Black Hawks in action, and Special Forces go to work. Explosions and gunfire, and the terrorists are taken down. Before the troops are extracted from the scene, it's mission accomplished in this mock exercise.
I hope you saw an impressive display of Army's newest aircraft.
The first 10 of 40 US-made Black Hawks have arrived in Australia. They're replacing the Taipans. That fleet was grounded last year after a crash killed 4 servicemen.
From our perspective, we've moved on from the Taipan. It's about making this platform perform in the roles and the missions that are required.
And it's not just for combat. Their tasks will include responding to natural disasters. And in an effort to show off their new capability, the media was given a front row seat for a flight over Sydney. 3 choppers in formation, a very public show of force.
The Black Hawk is the most versatile utility chopper in the world. They fly in 38 countries, and now Australia has eagerly rejoined that club.
a relationship renewed. In 1987, the Black Hawks were the workhorse for the Australian Army.
Very happy to see an old friend back serving inside the Army.
It's a $3 billion investment. The chopper's now the Army's new spearhead, not only overseas, but also in the skies above Australia in the fight against terrorism. Damien Ryan, 9 News.
Fake cash bonus. Next, the new scam you need to look out for.
Matthew Perry's mother makes a heartbreaking confession a year on from the Friend star's death.
The guide to the most spooktacular Halloween homes near you.
Plus, the new male fertility test that you can do at home.
Myer has bought billionaire Solomon Lew's clothing brands in a mega deal for the department store. Dougal Beattie has tonight's finance report.
Just Jeans, JJ's, Portman's, Dottie and Jackie E are some of the brands Myer has bought from Premier Investments for $950 million. It will also give the billionaire owner of the company, Solomon Lew, a seat on the board of the department store. Shares in Premier surged 10%, while Myer dipped after initially rallying 7%. Elsewhere, it was a steady day on the share market, up 0.3%. Despite the media storm surrounding the Prime Minister's Qantas flights, the airline hit a record high. The Australian dollar was down, buying 65 US cents, 60 euro cents and 50 British pence. And all eyes will be on tomorrow's CPI data, critical news for potential interest rate cuts.
Checking the fuel prices, the average for unleaded in Brisbane $1.87 and diesel $1.81. The average for unleaded on the Gold Coast $1.75. RACQ says we're approaching the expensive phase of the fuel price cycle, so delay filling up if you can.
Australians are being warned about a rise in scam websites promising false cost of living Centrelink payments. They're advertised as a bonus or one-off cash boost, offering between $750 and $1,800, and are a ploy to steal your MyGov credentials, asking you to check your eligibility status and log into your account.
It's a two-way street. We're doing everything we can to close down these sites and prevent people from going to them, but you also need to protect your own personal information.
Services Australia says the only way it will advertise changes to payments is through its official website and social media channels.
Matthew Perry's heartbroken mother has revealed her final conversation with her son 1 year on from his death. The Friend star had a long and public battle with addiction, an autopsy revealing that he died from the acute effects of ketamine.
He came up to me and he said, I love you so much and I'm so happy to be with you now. There was an inevitability to what was going to happen next to him.
His family now runs a foundation in Matthew's name, helping others struggle with addiction.
An Australian health tech company has developed a revolutionary fertility test for men. It can be done from the comfort of home, making it convenient and affordable.
John Bamborough and his wife Gigi always wanted a family, and thanks to IVF they have 2 beautiful children. But the process wasn't always easy, especially when it came to testing John's fertility.
It's pretty horrible, really. They'll send you to this room, designated room inside the hospital, and you basically go through a waiting lobby where other people are sitting, and they basically all know where you're going and what you're doing.
Now there's a way it can be done from the comfort of your home through the Sapien test kit. A patient can collect a sample at their own convenience before mailing it to a lab.
The kit in itself is a collection jar. It contains a proprietary stabilisation medium. What it effectively does is increase the viability of sperm samples from its traditional 1 hour all the way to 3 days.
And it's the fraction of a cost of an in-clinic option.
If you're buying at retail, it's $149. If you come through one of our healthcare practitioner partners and they make a referral for you, you could get a rebate of up to $45 on the test kit.
With 1 in 6 Australian couples utilising IVF treatment, fertility specialists say this is a game changer, especially for those living in rural and remote areas.
It provides options for people to access high-quality fertility care and also be able to have their pre-testing done closer to home rather than needing to travel to one of the major cities.
Sapien will soon be as accessible as a pregnancy test, with the kit being rolled out to pharmacies around the country.
Makes it really easy for men to access IVF with their partner for the lowest price possible and still get the highest accuracy rates.
This test may not be suitable for a small number of patients with existing medical conditions. Isabel Quinlan, 9 News.
The Maroons' philosophy spearheading Australia's Pacific Championships final fight. The major influence Cameron Smith is having on the next generation of Queensland golfers.
At the end of sport, the simple step slashing $400 off your power bills.
It was a nice sunny and warm day across southeast Queensland. Just a week's southerly change made its way along the coast. Right now in the city, a little bit of clouds starting to move in and currently 23 degrees.
Good evening. Mal Meninga's pick and stick philosophy helped Queensland clinch 8 Origin series in a row. Now he's using the same theory on the Kangaroos. Australia is set to roll out the same 17 for the Pacific Championships final. Meninga reluctant to take any risks that might backfire.
A man on a mission, although Mal's not the boss this week, with the Kangaroos out of camp until Sunday.
For me, I was back to family. I take my kids to school and probably do as I tell, because the wife tells me to do something, I'll do it.
But the Australian coach will resume his quest for green and gold representative redemption next week, where they'll face either Tonga or New Zealand in the Pacific Championships decider. Last year's loss still burning.
It takes a while, and the headlines have been fairly ferocious over those 12 months, but we like to win championships, so the Pacific Champs Cup are still up for grabs.
Queenslanders Harry Grant, Lindsay Collins, Pat Carrigan and Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow are part of the side stunned by New Zealand 30-0. 12 months on, set to be entrusted with completing the comeback in this year's decider.
We probably need to go with the same 17, but we'll make decisions over the next week or so. Well, I think there's still room for improvement in us. Well, I know there is. Combinations, cohesion, that's all really important, and making sure that happens.
All eyes on cross-code convert Joseph Suali'i in Sydney today, donning the Wallabies green and gold, armed with a pointed message for critics who say his selection in the upcoming spring tour cheapens the jersey.
Everyone has an opinion, which is respected, but yeah, I'm on my own path. I feel like I'm dreaming how I want to dream. Everyone else can have their opinion, and look, I'm just living the life I want to live.
Matthew Simbakis, 9 News.
A $1 million weekend awaits the Lions, who need results to go their way to win the McClelland Trophy as a leading club across the AFL and AFLW. Despite the dangling carrot, players aren't buying into the hype.
There's probably a lot more outside noise in the sense we're kind of going 1 week at a time.
The bonus is theirs if the Lions beat St Kilda and the Tigers then upset the Hawks. The Matildas will be coming to Brisbane full of confidence next month for the Suncorp friendly against Brazil. They've just beaten Olympic bronze medalist Germany, and they've got Kyra Cooney-Cross to thank for it. The Brisbane-born midfielder scored her first goal for Australia, a stunning long-range strike sparking the Matildas' comeback, going on to claim an impressive 2-1 win.
I think it restores confidence again. It restores confidence in individual players, it restores confidence in the team, and it brings that belief back.
It's the first time the Matildas have beaten Germany in 19 years. Manchester United has finally swung the axe, sacking coach Erik ten Hag. The Dutchman has been under pressure for more than a year, overseeing the club's worst ever Premier League finish in 8th. This season, they're currently 14th. United legend Ruud van Nistelrooy has taken over as interim manager. Cameron Smith may be the headline act at this week's Queensland PGA Championship at the Nudgee Golf Course, but the major winner is said to face some stiff competition from a group of fearless youngsters.
Accustomed to playing for million-dollar paydays, Cameron Smith a priceless draw card for the Queensland PGA Championship. The major winner, an unexpected addition to the field in his hometown, adding some serious star power to this week's tournament at Nudgee.
I'd played junior events around Queensland all year, and you'd look on the trophy and what do you know, Cam Smith, all the names, Scotty, pop up, so it's definitely going to be very cool.
Brisbane teenager Wes Hinton will play the opening 2 rounds alongside Smith.
It'll be an experience unlike any other. I'm sure there'll be lots of crowds and people watching, so it'll be pretty special, it'll be pretty cool.
Hinton recently spent time with the British Open champion at his Florida base after being awarded the Cam Smith Scholarship.
It was awesome. It was my first time overseas, and spending a couple of weeks with Cam was definitely something I won't forget. It was a great experience and I learnt a lot.
This week, though, they're rivals, pitting the 18-year-old against the golfing Goliath.
I can try my best. We'll see what happens come Thursday.
Defending champion Phoenix Campbell has another major winner on his side after a chance meeting with Adam Scott in Japan.
He actually took me out for lunch at the club, and I kind of just take a little bit of confidence from it, knowing that he had the faith in me. He believes that I'm a good player, and then I have that same belief in myself.
Adam Jackson, 9 News.
And the best thing about the Queensland PGA, entry is free. It all starts Thursday.
Good stuff. Thanks, Jono. Well, of all the household expenses, electricity is the one that's burning a huge hole in so many budgets. Surprisingly, new research has found loyalty is a big part of the problem, costing Queenslanders hundreds of dollars a year, as Ashlyn Krukelis explains.
The average Queensland household has been with the same energy provider for 9 years. Only 12% of households have changed retailers in the past 2 years, and it's costing us. Research by Canstar Blue shows the difference between being on one of its top-rated deals and the average plan is $207 a year, and that's before you take state and federal government rebates into account.
A single switch can potentially lead to ongoing savings quarter after quarter.
There are plenty of switching incentives, with retailers currently offering new customer sweeteners such as $150 in sign-up credits, 10,000 Woolworths Everyday Rewards points and a $100 Visa gift card.
Checking your electricity bill regularly, at least twice a year, potentially every quarter when your bill comes in, is a really good idea.
Canstar Blue put providers to the test in terms of value and performance to determine the 2024 Outstanding Value Energy Awards. In Queensland, PowerShop was found to be the best for electricity, Alinta Energy for solar and Origin Energy for gas. Customers are advised to read the fine print before making a switch and to make sure they pick the right plan for their lifestyle.
In just 3 minutes, the most spectacular Halloween homes near you. Your guide to the best monster mansions and ghoulish gardens. Plus, the special setups for little kids, dialing down the fright factor. That is right after the break. But first, Garry's back with a quick check on the weather. Gaz, thankfully, no storms today.
Yes, we were storm-free today, Melissa. What a day it turned out to be. Some nice warm temperatures, but it was slightly cooler inland this morning. Even a couple of single-digit temperatures recorded. We'll check those for you with your full forecast up next.
It's that time of year when Queensland's creepiest creatures emerge from the shadows to trick or treat their way around southeast suburbs. Tonight we have your guide to the most spooktacular places to take your kids for Halloween.
'Tis the season to spook, and you know what that means. Queensland families decking the halls with horrors. Move over Christmas lights. This is the new way to show neighbourhood spirit. Or spirits, rather, ghostly figures taking over this front yard on Ladybird Street in Kalanga.
There's a lot of people calling in early this year to see it, and I think it's just taking off really, really well. When all the lights are on at night, it looks absolutely marvellous.
Algate Crescent at Pacific Pines, once again home to the Gold Coast's most ghoulish home. Nightmarish scenes on southeast streets, easy enough to see through by day, but when the sun goes down. As darkness falls on Halloween and creatures start to emerge from the shadows, that's when it can get really scary. It's why more and more Queensland households are going with kid-friendly displays this year. On Glen Morgan Street in Capera, Angela Holland's dialling down the horror for the little ones.
Between 4 and 6, we normally have all the lighting inside the house on. Between 6 and 7, we put all the ambient lighting on, but there's still no jump scares.
Kids still get a kick out of it.
I'm just a little bit scared of that.
But it's not scary enough to send them running for mum.
It's pretty good because, you know, it gets a bit scared.
In fact, the scariest sights in this house are its visitors. What are you guys dressed as?
I'm dressed as a policeman vampire. I'm dressed up as a skeleton.
Were you scared inside here?
Nah.
But for thrill seekers chasing frights, beware. Blackton Street in Logan has a lot. Some people love Christmas lights. You guys clearly love something different.
funny you say that. We used to do Christmas lights. I find Halloween more interactive and just more.
Christmas is boring.
But just how scary does it get?
I think we've had maybe one or two say that they've nearly peed themselves. We've got a toilet on hand this year.
Just as well, because the scares stop for no one.
Can you give us a...
Don't be afraid of clowns.
Oh my goodness. It doesn't stop. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
To find the trick-or-treating hotspots near you, a map's been created on the Brisbane Halloween Lovers Facebook page. There's scares to be had all over the southeast. Lily Greer, 9 News.
Oh dear. Well, time now for your full weather forecast with Garry Youngberry. Gaz, are we still expecting some showers and thunderstorms through the week?
We certainly are, Andrew, especially towards the end of the week. Friday looks to be fairly active. The chance tomorrow, in fact, we could even see a shower later this evening in the city. A little bit of cloud that's starting to increase. A shower possible again late tomorrow morning, with the best chance of a storm tomorrow in the afternoon as temperatures start to heat up. It was a nice warm one today across the southeast. Let's have a look at temperatures, but firstly a bit cooler inland. An overnight low of 9 degrees this morning, and that was shared between Warwick and also Oakey. While daytime highs range from 26 on the coast and Bayside, a maximum of 31 in Ipswich, Gatton and Oakey, 30 in Beaudesert and 29 here in the city. The weather map tomorrow, showers and storms will continue across the northern tropics with a heat trough, while another lingering trough in the east will bring showers and storms from New South Wales and into southern Queensland, while the front will bring cooler winds to southern Australia with showers for Victoria, Tassie and South Australia. Capitals, sunny and hot in Perth, sunny and warm in Adelaide and Canberra, partly cloudy day for Melbourne, shower or two in Hobart, sunny and warm in Sydney. Queensland tomorrow, mostly sunny and low 30s, Cairns, Townsville, Mackay and Rocky. A possible shower around Bundaberg with 29 degrees. A couple of showers in Gympie and Maryborough, sunny and dry in Mount Isa and Longreach with high 30s, Roma 33 degrees. Southeast Queensland, partly cloudy, medium chance of showers in the morning and again the afternoon with a possibility of an afternoon thunderstorm, light to moderate northeasterly winds. Temperatures tomorrow reaching the mid to high 20s. Moreton Bay, southeast 10 to 15 knots, shifting north-northeast 5 to 10 knots, so some light winds tomorrow on the bay. Brizzy, partly cloudy, chance of a shower and a storm, a high 27 degrees. Your outlook, Thursday 31 with a possible afternoon shower and storm. Friday 31 with showers and thunderstorms. A few showers Saturday with a chance of a storm, partly cloudy Sunday. Ipswich, Thursday 34 with afternoon showers and storms. Scattered showers and thunderstorms Friday. A few showers Saturday with still the chance of a storm or two. Partly cloudy Sunday and 31. For the Goldie, Thursday 30 degrees, afternoon showers and storms. A few showers Friday with storms likely to continue into Saturday. Partly cloudy Sunday. Sunshine Coast fine Thursday with evening showers and storms. Friday 31 with showers and storms. A few showers and possible storms again on Saturday. It looks like Sunday will be the pick of the weekend with partly cloudy skies. Just a little unsettled but still quite warm for the rest of the week, guys.
Thanks for that, Garry. Before we go, here's a look at a story you won't want to miss tomorrow night.
The big switch to electric now taking to the skies.
It's revolutionary, really.
The Aussie company plugging in for takeoff.
Can introduce this technology internationally.
Why the new electric era in flying is good news for Queenslanders.
The race is on.
9 News, your news tomorrow.
Thanks for your company this evening. That is 9 News Queensland for tonight. If you stay with us, Ali Langdon is next with the current affair.
And then I'll have updates through the evening. For now, though, good night.
Good night.